Alberta. Let's go. Free Alberta. Alberta, 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 Alberta. Let's go. Free Alberta. Let's go, 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 go. Free Alberta. Free Alberta. Let's go. Free Alberta. Control and propaganda, lies and propaganda, corruption and propaganda, lies and propaganda, corruption and propaganda, lies and propaganda, control and propaganda, control and propaganda, corruption and propaganda, lies and propaganda, control 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 and propaganda, lies and propaganda, corruption and propaganda, control and propaganda, corruption and propaganda, control and propaganda, corruption and propaganda, 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 corruption and propaganda, lies and 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 propaganda, corruption 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 and propaganda, lies 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 and propaganda, controlling propaganda, controlling propaganda, controlling propaganda, controlling propaganda, corruption and 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 propaganda, lies and propaganda, corruption and propaganda, lies and propaganda, corruption, propaganda, corruption and propaganda, corruption and propaganda, corruption, control and propaganda. Let's go. Free Alberta. Yeah. Let's go. Free Alberta.
What's going on, folks? Thanks for tuning in to the 40th episode of Alberta Radio Show. Got a new setup, and I'm your host, Jay LaFosse. So tonight we're going to talk a bit about Edmonton's homeless epidemic that's happening. It's been going on for quite a while, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. Last night, there's an individual who works in the front line, and he was posting on X today, we got to do something, because not only are we're giving millions of dollars to these non-for-profits who are supposed to be helping to curb this situation, and the money's not going to where it's supposed to. We got, addictions, homeless or getting amputated, and the underlying street stuff with the gangs that are manipulating with the drugs and bullying the homeless. So there's that going on, right? So we're going to run through a couple videos I'm going to show you tonight. Also, we're doing a giveaway. So the giveaway, I'll show you guys. We're giving away one large t-shirt and our new bumper stickers. So these are the new t-shirts we got. I'm wearing one right now, as you can see. I'll show you. Right, the Free Alberta with the Alberta shield and the headphones on it. The large t-shirts going with that, and and our new bumper stickers. There we go. Get to the light so you can see it, because the shadow is covering it, right? And you can also go to our website and order shirts, and every shirt comes with a bumper sticker. Not necessarily this one, but we have other ones as well. And you can also buy bumper stickers. So all the money that we're raising with the sales of the shirts and the bumper stickers, it's basically to raise more money for our third-party advertising, because we have something planned for the end of the summer, and we need to raise some money for that. I went out and met Jay Leving today, and it was pretty nice seeing him. It's always a pleasure. Get a nice setup of merch, got a sign. So I brought him a t-shirt and a bumper sticker and traded him off for one of his lawn signs so that we could put up on my balcony. Right, support all the TPAs. And so before we get into the issue with Edmonton, so I just want to say this. This isn't about Alberta independence. This show's not about keeping Alberta in Canada. This isn't anything like that. This just is going to show that the federal government and the municipal government are mostly at fault for what's going on in our streets. So people will say, why aren't you blaming Daniel Smith? Well, the province is doing what they can, because the province has built new treatment centers. We reduced the overdose rate by 48% and the overdose deaths by 48%. But people are still dying, and there's mass homelessness that's out of control. 5,000 people homeless, right? So want to bring me that sign so I can show that sign to people? Yeah. Anyways, so in Edmonton, it's the capital of Alberta. We have 5,000 homeless. That's what I'm getting at. The problem I'm seeing here is, who are the homeless? Are they foreigners coming into the country and we're not able to house them? Is that or is it just First Nations, or is it just it's not? So I'm going to show you a video what's going on in Chinatown. We need to do something better. And when just regular people can find solutions and our own politicians refuse to address the solutions presented to them, there's a problem there. The non-for-profits are set up, and every non-for-profit that's been involved with the homeless and harm reduction also received money for anti-racism initiatives, LGBTQ initiatives. So it's just a money laundering scheme. And people are paying themselves salaries off the backs of the vulnerable. We have ample real estate across Edmonton in areas where it would be safe to relocate the homeless from downtown Chinatown and put them in some transitional housing with some services and treatment. We are already proceeding to use law enforcement to get drug addicts off the street, especially those who can't make any sound decision for themselves, to get them the help they need and get them into treatment. We're starting to move forward with that. We need to do that. And it's not to say, oh, we're going to police the homeless, or we're going to police the addicts. Right now, the drugs are so bad that the people taking these drugs are so inebriated they can't even make a decision for themselves. And the idea that not everybody wants help, it's 1% of the homeless and vulnerable population who refuses to get help. So, when you look at the dynamics of what have we been doing as a country, as Canada, not as Alberta, not as Edmonton, but as a country. In the last 10 years, we focused on the minority groups of this country, empowering them, weaponizing their messages, weaponizing their ideologies, and ramming it down the throats of Canadians every day, hijacking traditional, celebrations, traditional holidays being taken over by these radicals. And all they do is pay themselves salaries off the backs of every one of us, including the homeless and the less fortunate and those who are facing addictions and are dying from addictions. These people are responsible for these crimes, and it's crimes against humanity on a level never seen before. And it's eugenics in a sense, because once you look at how they rolled that out, legalized it through the government mandates, and then rolled out and deployed this killing machine that's taken the lives of almost 200,000 Canadians just with addictions alone since the last 5 years. We expect 700 Edmontonians to die this year from overdoses, from the way they're living in tents, amputated, getting infections after amputation. Over 300 Edmontonians, Albertans, just in Edmonton alone, got amputated this year in the spring because we have Band-Aid solutions, because we're too Canadian to find our own solution to our own problems to help our own citizens. And we put the hyper focus on foreigners who come into our country who get all the money to get themselves in a house, and rapid accelerator funds for developers to build rapid infills to house the homeless refugees and people coming in, international students, all of them. They get the priority over our own citizens. And this is where we have to say enough is enough. These organizations who take millions of dollars as well, the Bissell Center, that's a big problem. The same thing with what was the other one? Mustard Seed. Why do these organizations have multi-million-dollar facilities and massive real estate across the country, and yet the problem persists? Taxpayer dollars have funded these organizations for the last decade, if not more. And all they do is pay themselves salaries, buy themselves fancy buildings. I mean, look at the Salvation Army. They have storefronts now, right? Legitimate, they look like Value Village almost in some areas. Multi-million-dollar corporate buildings, but that's a non-for-profit charity. How did we get from there to here? So I'm just going to read the comments before we start proceeding with some of the videos I'm going to show you tonight. Born and raised just north of Edmonton, watching the steady decline for years. It breaks my heart that our kids had not have the experience and opportunities that we had. Absolutely. No, absolutely. Yep. Paying 50% migrants while people line up at the food bank. Yeah, and another thing at the food bank, Rob, is that we're seeing people drive up in Mercedes and Denali's and BMWs loading up. I mean, these people are from third world countries or from Middle Eastern countries mostly, and they walk out with like carts while those of us are only allowed to take a bag. You know what I mean? Like, how does that happen? This is what's going on at the food bank here in Edmonton. I've witnessed it for myself. And he's living in his car, right? So we have folks living in their cars. It's just unbelievable. So we're going to show you guys, we're going to talk about the amputations first. And this is a coverage by City TV, I think it was. Here we go.
Sub-zero temperatures forcing Edmonton's unhoused population to fight for survival. And the number of frostbite-related amputations, a growing concern for the most vulnerable.
Every year, it's a guaranteed that somebody's going to lose their fingers, somebody's going to lose their toes, and somebody can even lose their legs or their tips of their noses or their ears.
Dr. Louis Franciscutti sees the worst of cold-related injuries working at Edmonton's inner-city Royal Alexandra Hospital, thinking of the lives lost and the patients who will need life-saving procedures when the temperatures drop below 0 degrees Celsius. Saying while there have been advancements in treating severe frostbites, prevention is best. Last year, Edmonton saw over 120 frostbite-related amputations, up from 81 the year before.
If I give you a diagnosis of being homeless in the emergency department, there's a 20% chance that you're going to be dead in the next 5 years. So it's a serious issue. We're just not taking it seriously enough.
According to the province's shelter dashboard, Edmonton's shelters are at 92% capacity as of Tuesday. The Hope Mission says their shelters are already flexing beyond capacity.
When it gets cold like this, we definitely see an increase in people who have frostbite. And so we've got nurses in our health clinic who can handle the frostbite and help with that. And another factor too is sometimes we see people with wounds, with burns and things like that.
Alberta's Ministry of Social Services says the increase in frostbite diagnoses and treatments are a direct result of coordinated and concerted efforts to raise awareness and early intervention. Adding, the province invested $220 million in this year's budget to combat homelessness and increase shelter spaces, saying in a statement, Alberta's government remains committed to working tirelessly to ensure vulnerable Albertans have access to supports they need and to working with shelter operators and frontline service providers to ensure every Albertan has access to warm and safe places to go this winter. The province also setting up navigation and support centers in both Calgary and Edmonton to help the unhoused access services and wraparound supports in one location. But for this doctor, he wants to see a bigger investment in bridge housing, a program that discharges homeless patients from hospital to housing with wraparound services.
We need to scale up. We need a healing house in every neighborhood in Edmonton. There's 375 neighborhoods. That would mean that would eliminate the problem of homelessness.
So this doctor, and I'm going to emphasize on what's going on here in Edmonton with the amputations. So why I really started speaking up about this was because, like, I've known about the amputation thing for quite a while. One of my friends, Lou, he was living on the streets. He had diabetes. He got one of his foot right from the ankle right down, lost his foot because of the diabetes, and he wasn't taking care of himself. He was living on the streets, right? Then you fast forward a couple years later, and he had to amputate. So he has two stumps. Right, no more feet because of living homeless and not take care of himself and all this. So one of his foot swelled up to the point where it got gangrene, and so I knew this was going on already, even when I was living on the streets, but not to the rate of what we're seeing now, especially the rate of homelessness and the rate of amputation, and what they're doing in Edmonton. So in Ontario, and it's not to say Ontario is any better, but in Ontario, they were actually, if you got amputated, you would get some housing, right? You would get to a recovery home, and they would proceed to try and get you on a disability plan to get you some housing because you are disabled at that point. In Edmonton, they don't do that. In Edmonton, they'd rather house refugees from another country, give them everything they need, put our people in the tents, make them freeze to death, get amputated in the spring, and not even put them in a home, not even help them. They amputate them, they get a day or two recovery with some aftercare, and out back on the streets you go. That's what Edmonton does. This is the capital of Alberta, folks. This is the city of Edmonton, their city council, the non-for-profits involved, our healthcare system, and we need to do better. This is what's happening in Edmonton. It's happening in Calgary. It's happening all over Alberta. They toss them back to the streets. So imagine if you're down on your luck and you end up homeless, you freeze in the January when we have our really cold week. You freeze and you end up getting frostbite and you have to amputate one of your limbs. Well, they're gonna cut you up. They're gonna chop your limb off and then send you back on the street. They don't house you. They don't take care of you. But if you were a homeless refugee and you had some type of gangrene, come on into Canada. We'll chop it off. We'll give you all the medical care, all you want, paid for by the Canadian taxpayer. And not only that, we'll get you an apartment with a disability plan, full dental, everything, right? With a free cell phone plan. Because that's exactly what's going on in this country. People who are living in their car, like this guy, and he can't even get on welfare, but yet homeless refugees from other countries can get it on. And the reason I'm pointing this out is because this is the real issue here, is immigration. On top of all the problems that are being affected by immigration, homelessness is one of the most detrimental issues right now that we need to address. These are our citizens, Canadian citizens, citizens that are part of our collective. And not only that, they're First Nations Aboriginal people that their corrupt chiefs will sit there and instigate or play politics, scam their own people, but don't even care about their people that are living on the streets or do anything about the First Nation street gangs involved, right? But let's historically guilt shame everyone else. That's the point here I'm trying to make, is calling out the nonsense and oxymoron of all of it. There's too many people homeless. 5,000 homeless people in Edmonton. It's unbelievable. There's not, it's not right. So I'm going to show you the video of Edmonton's Chinatown. Now, I think I put yes, I did. So it is now known that China is involved in bringing in fentanyl, creating the fentanyl labs with these Chinese gangs. That's number one. They're using the Aboriginal street gangs that are coming out of the jail, because there's a huge Aboriginal First Nations gang in the jail system here in Alberta that rolls down to the streets. They're pushing the dope out to the homeless, and there's other shit going on. Now, the other thing I'm finding out is homeless folks are having to pay a tribute to some of these street gang members. It's not, I don't know if it's the gangs that are putting this in place, but I think it's just members who are taking it upon themselves to try and strong arm the homeless to get more money. And they're telling them they have to pay to get into the shelter. They're intimidating them. You know what I mean? This has to stop as well. And it's coming from the First Nations members of those gangs. That's been said to me by frontline workers in the last 24 hours. I'll show you that information as we go along. And every Chinatown in this country is just a war zone. So in one way, China's the ones bringing in the dope, and their little communities are a war zone. So they're doing it to themselves. They want to clean it up, shut down your dope. Simple as that. And the police need to do something. So I'm going to show you Chinatown in Edmonton. So Jesse Freeg covered some of this, and what he was covering about Chinatown in Edmonton was the fact that not only is the dope, the fentanyl, carfentanil, is synthetic fentanyl coming in from China being distributed onto our streets via gangs, but at the same time, the Chinatown stores are promoting the drug use by selling the tools, and they're actually making money off the addicts and the homeless. So it's like an all-in-one whammy of nonsense that's just killing our citizens, killing First Nations Aboriginal people, and it's time we call it out. It's time we shut it down. You know, if I was ever mayor of Edmonton, one of my first things I would do is I would sit down with the police commissioner and the police association, and I would actually delegate them to have extra powers to shut down the gang houses and clean up Edmonton and make a message be sent to everybody that not in our town. You know, you're killing people. This is out of control, and it's an impact. It's like a double, triple impact whammy, because it's not only just organized crime that's a direct involvement, but it's our municipal leaders, our federal government that's empowering them by monetizing it. And I mean, look at our streets. You know, it's everywhere, and it's bad. I mean, I have another video that I had a while ago where it's worse, right? See, as you go down, we'll fast forward a little bit. So I want to show you, here. See, this is all these people, the whole streets on every side, homeless. Tent cities, they get set up. You can see there's tents in the video already. You know, like and this is okay for Canadians. Is it okay for Canadians? Are you okay with your citizens living like this? Like, honestly, you know, we're so ippity about guilt shaming about someone's sexuality. About, oh, if I'm don't call me the wrong pronoun, and I want my rights. And what about the rights of the homeless? What about the rights of those who are living in this filth, who are living in this nonsense that's caused by a systematic failure and organized crime combined? We need to fix this. It's, you know, it's one thing to say that we have a couple people homeless, but we have 5,000 people homeless, folks. Amputated at the highest rate in the country, absolutely ignored, right? You imagine the amount of tax dollars that goes into frontline services on EMS getting called continuously, right? EMS is in the video. Look at, that's what they're doing. It's continuous every day. So think about all those guys they have to pay for, right? Now, if we were to fix the problem, we would save the system some money. We'd save our taxpayers money because we wouldn't have to put so much investment into frontline services because we would have solved the problem. And that's exactly one thing. Oh, absolutely, I agree with this. Nope, I think we need to bring back forced hospitalizations for those with mental illnesses. I absolutely agree. Absolutely, 100% agree with that. You know, and it is not humanity. And, you know, it's exactly what Kelly says. You know, we need to keep our faith and trust that He will keep us and see us through this, my brothers and sisters. Absolutely. I mean, you know, it's unbelievable what's happening in our communities, and this is just Edmonton, folks. Wait till I show you what, you know, Calgary and stuff, because I pulled some videos from Calgary as well. But it's an everyday thing, war zone in our city. And my problem is this: is, you know, when I look at some of the U.S. states and I compare Alberta to that, because Alberta is has more of American sense to, like, it's because of our, when we settled here, the Wyoming Strait, you know, like that's who we are. So there's more American in Alberta than there is in Ontario or any other eastern province. So for me, it's like when you look at the states and you look at their capitals and you see how beautiful it is and how they take a role. I mean, not every state's the same, but they really do try to make the effort for their capitals of their states. They're proud about it. And I think Albertans are very proud people as well. But it's not proud to see this. Like, I'm not proud to be able to see in this, any of this, anywhere in any place of the country, to tell you the truth. So not only as an Albertan, but as a Canadian, I'm not proud of any of this. This has to stop. We have to do something to help these people, right? So it's just an onslaught of stuff. Now, getting back to the Chinatown thing, this is Chinatown in British Columbia. Now, I want to thank my friend Van City for this. Just breaks my heart, man. It absolutely breaks my heart to see this. And you know, when I lived on the streets, never wasn't like this. Never like this, folks. Ever. I mean, I'm gonna speak freely, right? As somebody who lived on the streets, so it's a little bit of street talk. Just want to go through the comments here. Yeah. So when I lived on the streets, the junkies, what we called them, everybody called them junkies. The general population called my friends junkies. Now, the homeless population, when I lived on the street, the majority, I'd say 80% of us weren't doing hard drugs. We weren't shooting up. We're mostly just smoking weed and getting drunk, you know. And the folks that were shooting up, they were always doing it somewhere secluded, away from people, not in the public. And then in 2017, after they changed the harm reduction mandate, in 2017, they deployed red coats and blue coats on the streets to hand out needles to addicts and tell people that because there was folks, they were smoking their fentanyl patches back then. And then you could get these hydromorphs and stuff. And then some people would shoot up the hydromorphs. So they actually compelled the people who were shooting up to get everybody else to shoot up. That's exactly what public health did. And then they ran a directive, which was basically flood all the communities across Canada with needles, especially conservative. And this had to do with politics as well, folks, especially cities that were conservative, liberal, like a split. The Liberals got public health organizations to cause a problem because they thought they could rectify it with this new program, which is a complete failure. So that's when we seen all our communities littered with needles. And then community members started going out and picking up the needles because the city wouldn't do nothing, because these harm reduction groups who were pushing the needles on our city, they weren't doing nothing, and the bodies started dropping. Right? That's exactly the truth. That's exactly the truth. So when you look at today and you look at how it was before, and that wasn't too long ago, right? Wasn't too long ago, where the dynamics have completely turned around and it's so bad. And you ask yourself, how much money have these people received to try and curb the problem? No, man, it's an industry. They're poverty pimps living off the backs of the vulnerable. It's crazy. Oh, yeah, that's it, exactly. The liberal activists infiltrated our government sectors, and their bleeding hearts do not mind the damage done to society. They're the ones, exactly, and they're creating the problem, right? Right? Yeah, depopulation agenda on task. They're right on point right now. Now, that was Chinatown, and this is Calgary. Where is it? Here we go. Right? Downtown Calgary. So, when you look at these mayors and councils, and then you look at law enforcement, is law enforcement really enforcing the law? Are these harm reduction programs reducing the problem? Are people getting the help they need? Are we seeing a reduction in addicts? No, man, people are dying on our streets in Edmonton, Calgary, all over the country, right? What's going on, Dime Bag? Welcome to the show. So, when you see these videos and you're like, wow, man, this is insane, this is happening in our backyard. And it just blows my mind. Actually, I have some more videos. Let me see here. Oh, yeah. And here's Vancouver, right?
The way they deal with the block here is all harm reduction, because the war on drugs didn't work. The war on the block didn't work, so they went harm reduction, but does it really help? You think of us, the subculture, the drug addicts down here, as as a spoiled child, right? And you give them a place to stay. You let him do whatever the fuck he wants. You feed him. Literally come and they clean up after him.
It's a big industry, drug addiction and homelessness and all that stuff, and that creates a lot of jobs. And you know what, people, I don't think, to tell you the truth, that people in places of power are all that too keen on fixing everything. It's money's too big of an issue on that, right? I feel. So I don't know what the solution is, but I don't believe in harm reduction, which obviously I think it seems to me the government and the establishment, it works for them. Money talks, I guess. But at whose expense, I'm not going to say I'm a victim here because I make my own choices. I choice against my family and stuff like that. But whose expense really pays? Like my family pays the price while these, fat cats enable people and stuff like that. And I don't want to sound like I'm blaming everything on them, but it's not the answer for sure. Definitely not. Just to let things go by while people die and people's children grow up, and a new generation of addicts and dysfunction. It's ridiculous and it's awful. It's evil. I think.
The dark truth of harm reduction, and one of the reasons why I'm enemy number one to the federal and provincial liberals and NDP is because I was one of the first people to speak up against it with Neil Magnuson and out of Vancouver and Hastings. So, after legalization of cannabis, the cartel industry decided to try and lobby the government to legalize cocaine and heroin and all these other drugs, and the government was like, no, we're not doing that. But what they did do, though, is they compelled Big Pharma to create a synthetic drug to give it as a safe drug supply to Canadians who are facing addictions on the street rather than getting them treatment and helping them save their lives. When we contribute taxation to the collective, every one of us contributes to try and help or make our country and our communities thrive better. That is the purpose for taxation. That is why we collectively put money into the pot together so that our infrastructure is covered, so our programs and services are covered, and to make sure that our public safety and beautification of our cities is at the utmost importance. But instead, our governments, municipal, provincial, and federal, have taken a role to ignore the problem and to fund minority groups and harm reduction with synthetic use of drugs to keep our population high and dying, as it now is a poverty pimp industry. These not-for-profits now are profiting off the backs of the homeless and the vulnerable, off addictions, by a rapid rate of 90%. So think about it. If you're a non-for-profit and you go in and you sign up for a $1 million grant with no nurses, with nobody who's actually a doctor on your team, and you just put in that you want to help, do things by providing the tools so they can continue to use and get into the needle program racket. Well, then that $1 million that you receive as a grant, well, you can use 90% of that to pay yourself a salary or to pay you and your friend a salary. And that is exactly what's going on in this country. I've sourced over, I'd say, at least $100 million alone from just 3 organizations that paid themselves salaries, that have on their financials have erroneous amounts for other, and the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Their salary base, when you're paying a director $500,000 salary, and yet you're supposed to help the homeless, curb addictions, and use the money that you got to actually solve the problem. But no, this is what the problem is in this country, is we guilt shame citizens, taxpayers, about every historic little thing, about every gender ideology, about glorifying who you sleep with. And they get all the special rights. They get all the rights. But our own Canadian citizens, the one who contribute the most, and we fall down on our luck, get injured, get pushed into by Big Pharma by prescribing us the most potent drugs for painkillers. And then we face addictions. And then we lose everything. And then we're living in tents, only hoping to get amputated in the spring. And that is exactly what Canada's come down to, because it's too Canadian to fix the problem. It's too Canadian to fix and save our own Canadian citizens. It's too Canadian to actually look at our domestic issues and stop blaming Trump, stop blaming everybody else for the problems that these people have created. It's not the right or conservatives who are to blame for any of this right now, because the Liberals and NDP have had majority power since 2015. And when I mean majority power, You might as well just say majority manipulated by the King's Privy Council to make decisions that affects every one of us with new bills, new regulations, high taxation, manipulating the market, the housing market, so people lose their homes so they can cater to foreigners. You know, are you tired of your tax dollars going into helping save a foreign homeless individual to come into the country and house him in a hotel, give him a nice apartment, condo, give him all the furniture he needs or she needs, their family needs, and then they can start procreating more people and put more stress on our system? Because that's exactly the problem in Canada is immigration. We've catered too much and called it multiculturalism. I'm sorry. No, this is a flat out erasure. They're killing Canadians, folks, because on the streets, there is no homeless people from India or Bangladesh. There is no homeless third, people coming in from Israel or Iran or Middle East or any other country. You don't see homeless Somalis or Nigerians. You see homeless Canadians and First Nation people, Métis people, our people. So when is it enough? And when do we say it has to stop? I've been trying to say this since 2017 when I started harping about it, but I became enemy number one because I speak out, get called every name in the book, but I don't care. I'm not going to stop until we actually have accountability and fix the problem. So what's the solution? Well, all of us have tried to present solutions, petitions, doing everything we can. They don't listen. The only solution we have right now is to compel the premier to change legislation for the recalls on the municipal level. The municipal affairs minister needs to compel the premier. We need to tell them what we want so that before March 2027, we have the threshold for the recalls on the municipal level to match that of the citizen-led initiative on the provincial side. And this way here, we'll have the ability to drain the swamp. We can cut funding to these not-for-profits to make it work. And when we do things to curb the problem, it's based on metrics, not based on peer-studied reviews and fake doctors who got a doctorate as a gender study education and became somehow the voice of the homeless. The voice of the homeless are being ignored. This week, I plan to go out and meet some of the homeless folks. I have every intention to go meet Murray Morana downtown, and I've been invited to go speak with him. And I'm planning to go and talk to the homeless. Well, I'm not going to be like the other content creators though, and interview them on camera because that's not what I don't want to be profiteering or showboating that either. But I want to talk to people to find out what we can really do to fix the problem for them. I'd rather help my own citizen than help someone else from another country. And that's not racist. That's not bigot. That's not anything. That's being patriotic and serving a duty to my country and calling out the bullshit by the globalists who've created this problem, who are killing our people, who are eradicating the old stock Canadian. Remember when Trudeau said that in Maclean's magazine in 2017? Well, here we are today, 10 years later, and our people are dying. So, in my opinion, this goes beyond the crimes against humanity. All these people involved, all the people who took paychecks off the back of the vulnerables, they should be up before a tribunal. You profiteered off the backs of the homeless, and your policies are a direct result causing death. Isn't that manslaughter? So, at the end of the day, this is how we're going to win it. We do all need to write a letter and an email to our premier, to the Minister of Municipal Affairs, and demand that the threshold for recall be changed for 2027 so we can address these issues, fix the domestic problems in our communities, and move forward with better leaders, people that will actually do the job, listen to the people, and care about our communities. Enough is enough. So that's where I'm at with that. So just check out the comments. When I get my Danny bucks, it's all good. So for the municipal minister, I'll get you guys the information. Stan Taylor. I'll put the emails up. or Dan Williams. Sorry, not Dan Taylor. Dan Williams. So to contact the ministry, you can do. You can call the minister. Got an itchy nose. I'm going to put that in there. So that's the phone number. I'm putting it in the chat for the Minister of Municipal Affairs. And everybody knows the Premier's email address. So and the email for the Minister of Municipal Affairs is in the chat as well. So what you could do is this. You could email the Premier. You can call the Minister of Municipal Affairs and, complain that way or demand that he do something about the recall threshold. And you can email the Minister of Municipal Affairs when you email the Premier as well. So just, carbon copy and or BCC or whatever. The more people send emails and letters into the Premier, the better our chances is to get the legislation changed. And right now, I know that the province of Alberta is already thinking about changing the recall threshold for a municipal, but we need to put some more pressure on. And we really need to put the pressure on because we need this changed before March 2027. And we can do that. We can make some change because I'll tell you right now, I did sit with Andrew Knack, and I'll be honest with you. Ask Kelly, ask my wife, and folks who are, who've seen my videos. So when he called me, I actually really thought that he wanted to do something and address the issue. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt because it was a positive conversation in the phone call at first. And I went and met with him. So, when I sat with him at first, I thought, okay, well, maybe this is somewhat positive. But at the same time, he was just blaming everybody else. There were a couple things that he said that, they were building more housing, but the housing's not for the homeless on the streets. The housing's for refugees. It's for foreigners. It's always for foreigners. And enough is enough. Like, we need somebody who's going to lead this city. We need a council that's going to do their job. And we need to micro audit every department in City Hall. I mean, look at your streets, folks. It's not just the homeless. It's not just, the shit services we're getting with all the taxes that we're having to pay. People who own homes, your taxes go up. They're putting you on a credit. They want to finance your payments now so they can put some type of credit regime on you so they can strong arm your home. So what? They can tear it down and build a new infill for a refugee? Like, seriously, this is absolutely insane. And then if it's not the homeless or failed programs and services or, infrastructure upgrades, it's the planning on road construction. It's the planning on Gateway, okay? Like, they shut down on one side of the road because instead of doing the road work, they're doing sod work. Like, who cares about the grass right now? Let's fix the roads, man, and get the rapid teams out there, get it done in one shot, and boom, move to the next one. But instead, they got the whole city. The whole city's under hostage right now by, construction jobs that are just sitting there doing nothing. It's just, this has to stop. That's the worst planning I've ever seen. And every city that's affected by this is a Liberal and NDP biased, colluding with the public sector union, manipulating with the federal Liberals continuously rather than dealing with the province at hand, right? That's why, we need this recall change to happen so we can get these people out and do something that's going to make it work. And that's where I'm at with that. So I appreciate everybody who's going to contact the Premier and try and get this done. You had the census. Yeah, I know. This I forgot yesterday. The census lady showed up at our place and we told her to beat it. She was trying to get access to the building. She was going all in every, because we have 4 ways to get into this building. She went to every place to try to get into this building so she could knock on doors and harass people. And when I seen her outside, I said, "You're never getting in this building, lady. Don't even bother coming back because none of us in this building are doing a census. So get lost." But no, it's no but. Get lost. As simple as that. Until the Canadian government can fix its issues, what's the point of doing a census? What, you're going to census to find out that you have more more newcomers than supposed to, right? Just saying. Yeah, don't answer the door. Don't answer the door. So one more thing I wanted to mention is the gangs of Edmonton, right? So I have one video. Hey. I did not ask for that. I'm going to bring that up in a second. Give me a minute. Jesus. Oh yeah, okay, so this is the one right here. Gonna play this video, share this with you guys first.
Ruthless gangs in Edmonton. From prison-born crews that spilled onto city streets to groups where brutal ideology fueled unthinkable violence, and to syndicates whose power seems untouchable. These organizations have left a mark through force and fear. Which group tops the list and why? Let us start with number 3. Red Alert began in 1999 inside the walls
Jesus, man. Give me a second. All right, so give me 1 second. Yeah, I'm fine. My feed was just acting up, and so I'm gonna redo this. Give me a second, and I will share my screen so you guys can watch this video.
led by figures such as Robert Lee Wagner, Red Alert offered protection for Cree, Anishinaabe, and Métis inmates who refused to be recruited by other gangs. The alliance soon spilled beyond prison gates, drawing in young men from troubled backgrounds across Alberta and British Columbia. By the early 2000s, Red Alert was no longer just a prison gang. Its influence stretched through correctional facilities and onto city streets, expanding through fear, loyalty, and a steady flow of new recruits from inside the system. Red Alert's reputation was built on violence, including drug trafficking, assaults, home invasions, and enforcement work for larger criminal networks. They did not just fight rivals. Internal disputes sometimes turned deadly, as seen in the 2006 beating of their own president inside the Edmonton Remand Centre. Police estimate Red Alert is the largest of Edmonton's street gangs, with operations that have survived repeated crackdowns and arrests. Their structure is fluid, relying on alliances and prison connections rather than strict hierarchies. Even when leaders are jailed, the gang's roots in the correctional system keep the cycle alive. On December the 31st, 2021, street violence tied to Red Alert reached a flashpoint with a fatal police shooting linked to the killing of one of their members. This deadly confrontation underscored how the gang's prison origins continue to shape Edmonton's streets. Arrests and law enforcement pressure have only forced Red Alert to adapt, cycling members between prison and street crews, making the gang difficult to dismantle. Their persistent presence and willingness to use violence place them among the most feared groups in Western Canada. But a lack of true organizational insulation keeps them at number 3 on this list. White Boy Posse began making its presence felt in Edmonton in the early 2000s, but unlike most street gangs, their violence came wrapped in ideology. Members wore swastika tattoos, flashed Nazi salutes, and used racist slogans as both intimidation and recruitment tools. The gang's white supremacist beliefs were not just for show, they became a license for cruelty, setting White Boy Posse apart in a city where most gangs were focused on profit, not dogma. Their numbers remained small, but the impact of their brutality was outsized. The group's reputation reached a new level of infamy in 2012. In a quiet North Edmonton neighborhood, police discovered a severed human head, an act so gruesome it sent shockwaves through the city. Investigators linked the crime to White Boy Posse members, laying charges of second-degree murder, manslaughter, and indignity to a body. The case drew national headlines and confirmed what law enforcement already suspected. This gang used violence as a message, not just a means to an end. The deliberate use of neo-Nazi symbols and acts of extreme cruelty created an atmosphere of fear, far beyond their actual numbers. Inside Alberta's prisons, the presence of White Boy Posse fueled racial tensions. Clashes with indigenous gangs like Red Alert and Indian Posse turned already dangerous environments into battlegrounds. Correctional officers reported that even small groups could escalate violence across entire units, with ideological hatred amplifying every conflict. On the streets and behind bars, White Boy Posse's mix of white supremacist ideology and calculated brutality cemented its place among Edmonton's most feared gangs. Its ruthlessness was measured not by size, but by the severity and symbolism of its crimes. In Edmonton's criminal underworld, no group commands more fear or respect than the Hells Angels. Their roots in Alberta stretch back decades, built not on raw street violence, but on a model of organized, delegated power. Law enforcement classifies the Hells Angels as a high-level organized crime group, with operations that go far beyond local turf wars. Their name is linked to large-scale drug trafficking, firearms offenses, extortion, and money laundering, crimes that move millions and rarely leave evidence trailing back to the top. Unlike the chaos of street gangs, the Hells Angels operate through layers. Support clubs and affiliated street gangs handle enforcement, collections, and intimidation, while the core membership remains insulated. This structure allows leadership to direct the flow of drugs and cash from a distance, rarely exposing themselves to the risk of arrest or prosecution. Police allege that even when violence erupts, whether a beating in a bar or a drive-by shooting, the orders come from below, never directly from the club's highest ranks. Project Al Wheels, a multi-agency operation in 2015 and 2016, pulled back the curtain on the scale of their enterprise. Edmonton Police and the RCMP seized over $1 million in stolen property, including luxury vehicles, weapons, and cash. The operation disrupted business, but it also revealed the true reach of the organization. Networks of shell companies, support clubs acting as buffers, and a financial system built to withstand police pressure. This model of delegated violence and financial insulation sets the Hells Angels apart. Their national network connects Alberta to criminal markets across Canada, making them not just a local threat, but a key player in the country's underworld. While street gangs rely on intimidation and ideology, the Hells Angels use corporate tactics, outsourcing risk, controlling supply chains, and insulating leadership from the consequences of crime. This combination of reach, resilience, and ruthless efficiency places them at the top of Edmonton's most untouchable gangs. Across all three gangs, one truth stands out. Ruthlessness thrives where violence, ideology, and organized power intersect. Edmonton's underworld isn't fading, it's adapting. That's why vigilance matters now more than ever.
So, yeah, a lot of gangs, and as well as many women gangs and many countries outside American gangs. They can be brutal. Oh yeah, I don't forget. I don't ever underestimate the women jails and the women that are involved in gangs. I mean, when I was growing up, I knew a lot of folks in different gangs. I mean, even we had neighborhood gangs that some of us kids joined, right? But it was never like to the extent it is today. Um, right now, when you're looking at what's happening on the streets, impacting our homeless and our vulnerable community, it's not HA, it's not Hell's Angels that are out there doing the deed or anything. I don't even think Hell's Angels is involved in the fentanyl market at all. I actually believe that it's the Chinese, the uh, South Asian gangs now, because when you look at everybody who's getting busted all the time, it's not even members of Hell's Angels anymore. It's not even Canadians that are getting arrested anymore. It's always a Muhammad, a Japreet, or a Dupreet, or whatever Preet, or whatever it is, or Jitsinder, or whatever Cinder. You know what I mean? It's always their name. It's always them. Now let's think for 1 minute. If you get deport all these people, the crime rate would shoot down. The stress on our services, things would go back to normal. We have one country invading another right now. That's exactly what's happening, and it's causing a problem with our people. So I hope you guys, and believe me, like this moving forward, I'm just going to mention this now. Moving forward, I'm not going to hold back on what the truth is, because sometimes I do, just because, whatever. No, you know what? It's time to speak the truth, call it out, and talk about who's responsible. Who are they? What is it that really causing the problem? Is it Canadians causing the problems? Is it Albertans causing the problems? Is it British Columbians, or like every other problem? It's not. It's immigration. Flat out. Too many people. Go home. Get out. Seriously, you're not welcomed anymore. And that's where I'm at. Oh yeah, the epic rants are going to be coming. Trust me. The epic rants are coming back. I spoke to a lot of people in the last couple days, okay, who said, Jay, man, you know what I missed about your old stuff was your rants. Because like people listened. And I never thought to myself, I because I've been always under attack by the left, continuously losing jobs, targeting my kids, shit like that, right? So I took a role where I was like, you know what, maybe if I calm down a little bit and talk, just like, try to be whatever. Just, it works so much, but we're not getting the message across. So the rants are coming back. Oh yeah, I'm fed up with this shit. I'm fed up of these loser politicians who can't do their shit job. These guys are so incompetent, man. I mean, how many more people have to die? Like, how many like, seriously? So yeah, I'm gonna rant when I have to, when it's necessary. I've been ranting a lot though the last couple days on Lukasik and all that stuff, but that's a whole nother show. So anyways, it's a giveaway time. So I see that this is how it works. Okay. In order to win a t-shirt and a bumper sticker, you have to text this number. Wah, wah. That's the number. It's free. It's local Alberta. It's our text line. So if you text our hotline with your name, your first name, last name, and email address, I'll get my AI to randomly pick somebody. And that's how you will win. Now, because you're in Edmonton, right? If you're in the Edmonton area or Leduc area, Spruce Grove, I will come out and deliver it to you. It saves me shipping. But if you live outside the Edmonton area or whatever the case may be, then I'll send it out on Monday, where I have to pay the shipping. Right? So I'm hoping somebody from Edmonton wins. But anyways, It's actually kind of cool. So you get a cool bumper sticker that I put together for Alberta independence, and whoops, the free Alberta. It's actually a nice shirt. I'll show you what it looks like. See? That's what it looks like. We'll plug Jay. We'll give Jay a plug. So I got this sign today from Jay from the Living Show. Right? Our future, our choice, October 19th. Vote option 2, Living Show. Yeah. So today I mentioned to Jason that what our next plan is for Alberta Radio Show and for what we're going to do with this platform. And we're going to be getting into 24/7 online TV streaming, but only Alberta independent content creators, not necessarily just podcasters, but other content creators. And we're going to segment it, schedule. So, from this hour to this hour, it's this guy we're going to start doing that because we have the capabilities of doing that now. And actually put content and do that. So once we get that going, not only that, but we were contacted by Roku, and we can actually get a channel on there. So we want to do is build it first and stream it for a little bit to raise some money. And then we're going to go with the Roku app. Don't forget, Damien's working on Common Hold. For those of you guys who have the Common Hold app, log in today. There was an update. It looks really good. And we need some more folks to get on. Oh, there we go. And we need more folks to get on to beta test the Common Hold app. So I don't take phone calls, whoever's trying to call on our text line, but you could text the phone number that we have for you. And then you can win. So I got some folks texting in right now. Just let me get your information, guys, so I can put that into the system. And no, I won't be sending you. I won't reply with any kind of nonsense. I'm just kidding. Dude, 1 minute. 1 minute, guys. All right, I'm almost done. Just give me a second. The anti-woke song. Somebody just sent me that. All right. All right, so we got a few people that are texted in, and yeah, oh yeah, I know. I seen that. Yeah. Wing it, win it. The new anti-woke song. You guys want? Yeah, really? Hold on, I'll bring it up there. Max just texted it to me. It's that metal one, right? Let's see here. Hey, there it is. Let's see. Where did Maxi Boy put that in his videos? There it is. All right. Well, we'll get that up. Yes, we're going to play that. Give me 1 second. While I'm getting this sorted out, I'll play the anti-woke song for everybody.
All the spells they will try to cast, I don't care, I just move right past. They call me racist, call me phobe. Throw your labels, watch them explode. Transphobic, bigot, Nazi too. I don't care anymore. Fuck you! They call me racist when I speak the truth. White supremacist for seeing the proof. Fascist bigot when I dare disagree. Wanting tight borders is my heresy. Mention crime stats and I'm racist scum. Point out the patterns, here the hatred comes. Their virtue signals lost all of their bite. Shaming and blaming don't work on me right. I'm sick of their games and their endless lies. Your tired labels just don't work. Goodbye. I've been shamed and I've been blamed. Your virtue signals all the same. Words lost meaning long ago. Your power's fading. Now I know. All the spells they will try to cast, I don't care. I just move right past. They call me racist, call me phobe. Throw your labels, watch them explode. Transphobic, bigot, Nazi too. I don't care anymore. Fuck you! They call me transphobe for protecting girls. Men in the sports is completely absurd. Biology facts make them lose their minds. Mutilating kids is where I draw the line. Invading women's spaces, I raise hell. Question the madness and they cast their spell. Grooming the children is their sick new game. Call it out loud and they brand me with shame. All of their insults have lost all their sting. Your phobe words don't mean anything. Tired of the thought police kneeling down on bended knee. Enough is enough, the game's been played. Your slurs don't work, I'm not afraid. All the spells they will try to cast, I don't care, I just move right past. They call me racist, call me phobe. Throw your labels, watch them explode. Transphobic, bigot, Nazi too. I don't care anymore. Fuck you! Break the chains, tear down the wall. You wish your days are gonna fall. Call me every name in the book. I don't give a damn. Take a look. All the spells they will try to cast, I don't care, I just move right past. They call me racist, call me phobe. Throw your labels, watch them explode. Transphobic, bigot, Nazi too. I don't care anymore. Fuck you. They call me racist. I don't care. Call me phobe. I don't care anymore. All your is and all your foes. I don't care anymore.
That's hilarious. Oh my, I don't give a fuck. Oh, right. I don't care anymore. It's true. What's the old saying? Fuck them. They can't take a joke. All right, so the winner is Lori Jean. You win a T-shirt and the bumper sticker. Boop. So we had 5 people join. 5 people texted. So I just picked somebody random. Lori, you're the winner. Congratulations. So if you want to come up here and come and get it, that's all good with me. We'll meet somewhere and I'll bring it to you. But I have to ship it out. I'll ship it out. It's not a big deal, but no, congratulations. Good that I like to do more giveaways. I got a couple extra large shirts, so Kelly's getting a shirt anyways. So just saying, I'll be seeing her. I think Monday I'm going to stop by your place to drop off those tires, and I'm going to bring you a shirt and some bumper stickers. So you guys both win. Yeah, there you guys go. Right there, you guys go. Pick it up at Alberta Day at Mirror. I don't know if I'm going to be in Mirror for Alberta Day, unfortunately. I don't know. I'm going to try. But if I don't make it, it's all good. I'll be in Edmonton fishing on the river. That's my actually, you know what, to tell you the truth, Canada Day, everybody's going to Mirror, and I think some other folks are going some other places, but I'm choosing to mingle among Canadians and hand out my free bumper stickers just to instigate. Not going to be rude to anybody, nothing like that. But it's instigating to me, right? So I got a bunch of these bumper stickers. So I am planning to just walk along Saskatchewan Drive while everybody's waiting for the fireworks to start and hand out these. And if I can raise some money, because I need to raise a few $100, but if I can raise a few $100, then I can print some actual literature cards as to the reasons why Alberta should leave, and do, be an independent nation. I'd like to put that together and hand those out too. So regardless of the fact, that's what I'm doing for Canada Day. I'm going out and I'm going to go work. I'm going to go put some time in and go on my own and just hand out stuff to folks, regardless if I get punched in the face or not. Right? Got to do something, man. Got to do something. And then tomorrow, before I go, I'm going to do the event roll. Oh my God, it just went away. Oh my God. That is not good. Give me a break. I didn't put that in there. Oh, Jason. Oh yeah. No. Such an idiot. When you go select the file and you grab the wrong file and you're like, oh, but what did I forgot to go do? I grabbed the wrong file. Anyways. Jesus. All right, so we have the Mega Edmonton Blue Mile Flag Wave and Slow Roll Storm. Today they had the one, there was one in Sundre, I believe it was. So I didn't get to any coverage footage for that, but because today's show wasn't about that, but I want to plug the events before I go. So Edmonton Blue Mile Flag Wave and Slow Roll for tomorrow. We're meeting up in Atchison, so I'm going to that. I'm bringing some merch, folks. Don't worry. I'm going to bring some T-shirts and some bumper stickers so that we can try and raise some funds. And I'll probably hand out a few free ones as well, just to get rid of it. And if anybody wanted, give donations, that'd be great. So we're going to do that. And then after, what is it? What was the other event? There's that one that Tyson's got going. Oh, yeah. And then there's this one. And then there's this one coming up. These ones coming up. The Telethon for Independence, Saturday, July 18th at 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. And this is going to be hosted by John Bolton. And it looks like all the podcasters, influencers are jumping on board for this. I'm definitely want to help and get on board with this as well. So this is going to be an awesome event. So those folks, like, we'll stream. I don't care if I have to stream the whole thing. I'll stream it. The more people streaming, the better, and we can get some coverage for that. As well as save the date. And that's let Alberta decide. Mrs. Keith Wilson's event, and that's going to be Sunday, July 12th in Calgary. I'd like to go to this, so if anybody is coming, like if anybody's going from Edmonton, if you want somebody to let me drive, because my wife's going to be working. So if anybody wants me to jump in, that'd be great. If not, we'll figure it out. But I wouldn't mind going to this because a lot of folks are going to be here at this Save the Date Stampede breakfast. A lot of people are going to be there, so this is a good opportunity for people to come out and meet other folks in the independence movement network. So let me know. And good job to Keith Wilson on that one for that event. And I think that is it for the show. Yeah, that's it, folks. So don't forget, check out my website, www.albertaradio.ca. And the other thing, too, for people who watch, if you guys have opinion pieces, because I write articles, just go to Calgary. If people want to write opinions for our website, because we're adding articles and stuff like that, hey man, write an article about how you feel about your community, what you think can change. Like, I want to hear from Albertans. I want to post your stories and really put that on there as opinion pieces. I did one last week for somebody and it really did well. So opinion pieces, I'm starting to notice that when I put them up, a lot of people do read them. So this is a good thing. And the thing is if we post it on our socials and it's monetized, even if it makes 10 cents, I don't care. I'm going to pay you the 10 cents because it's your story. If I make money off it, I should just, it's your article. I'll pay you for it, whatever we generate. So the other individual, he made $6. It doesn't matter, man. $6. I generated $6. He got paid $6. So he was happy. He's like, man, I can't believe you actually paid me for that. I was like, hey man, it doesn't matter to me. So it's good. It's just to build a good brand so that we can involve Albertans and do something really good for our province, right? I'm serious. Go. Yeah, I know. I'm okay. I'll go. No, it's not even about that. It's the price of gas right now. And today, finally, the gas did go down. But I mean, if people are going, fuck, save money, man. We can all save some cash. And but I'm gonna go, and no matter what, go and that. And yeah, it's gonna be rocking. I want to get some good coverage of that. But I was trying to carpool with somebody just to save everybody some cash, save me some cash, right? But it's not that far. But anyways, there's some really good events this summer. So I really hope I'm going to cover. If you have events, make sure you send them to me, Jason at Alberta Radio. Just send me your events and I will post them. Freedomcalendar.net's got a really good source for events. Alberta Nation is one of the best leading directory in Alberta right now for all of our events and podcasters and information. So hit it up. That's it for the show, guys. And yeah, Lori, if you're coming up, let me know. You have my email, jason@albertaradio.ca. Shoot me an email that way. Don't text the text line. The text line's only open for when I say it's open. Well, it's open all the time. I can't close it, but what I do with it is just whatever. Right? Send me your song lists. I'll put it on the radio station, whatever. Anyways, that's it for me. Hope you guys have a good evening. And that's it.